Hello everyone. So in this session we are going to study about the infertility. So in the last sessions we studied about the MTP and STDs. The MTP, it means medically termination of pregnancy, and the why the MTPs have been done, in what condition the doctor suggests for MTP. So those are the important description or important concept in the MTP. After that we studied about the STD. STD or sexually transmitted diseases, you have to concentrate how many STDs are there and what principle we have to follow, that comes under STD, as I told you yesterday. And after those two, the last content of the chapter is infertility. So we will finish it off this today, infertility. First we will understand what is infertility. The infertility, it means the couples, few of the couples will be there, they are unable to give rise to the children. It means infertility. Not only in India, all over the world, so many couples are there, they cannot have their babies, they cannot give rise to the young ones. So that condition, we can't give us only one reason for that. The reasons are so many. It may be physical, it may be because of their hormone production, it may be because of their reproductive organs, it may be because of the immunological, the reasons may be immunological or physical or psychological, the chances are there. Because of these reasons, the couples, they can't give rise to the young ones. So first we will study what is infertility. Couples are unable to produce children in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation. So it means what? Infertility means the fertilization is not taking place in the couples. Why? Maybe because of, as I told you, so many reasons are there. Okay, so we can't blame only women's. In India, this is the main problem. If the couple after the marriage, if they are not producing the babies, if they are not giving rise to the young ones, the blame will go to the women. So not only women, the male can have the problem. The male also having the problem. If some problems occurs in their reproductive tract or reproductive system or anything like that, they can't give rise to the sperm or male gamete, and result of that the infertility occurs. So the infertility, we have so many techniques and technologies under which the couples can have their own babies. Okay, so that suggests that technology or that assisted by one advanced technology in the name, that advanced technology is in the name of arts. So what is arts? In the previous session I explained you about this arts. Arts is assisted reproductive technologies, under which so many techniques are there. By adopting one of the technique, the couple, those who are those who are unable to produce the offspring, they can have their children. So arts in sense assisted reproductive technology. Assisted reproductive technology. Okay, so what it suggests? How many techniques are there? So we will list one by one. Before that, so after this, what we are studying? We are studying about the techniques under which the couples can have their children. So in arts means in the assisted reproductive technologies, I'll list out the technologies first. Later on, I'll keep on explaining everything. The first one what we are going to learn is IVF. IVF in sense in vitro fertilization. In vitro fertilization, you might have seen in the medicals, or not only medical related or medical science related clinics, IVF center. You might have seen those kind of centers. What they'll do in the IVF centers, I'll tell you. The second one will be ZIFT. The expansion of ZIFT is zygote intrafallopian tube. Zygote intrafallopian tube. In short, they called it as ZIFT. One more is there, gift. It is not a gift what they are giving. Yes, they are giving the medical sciences, they are giving a gift. They are providing a very beautiful gift for to the infertile couples. But here the gift means gamete intrafallopian tube. Gamete intrafallopian tube, zygote intrafallopian tube, and the fourth one is ICSI. ICSI in sense intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So next is the fifth one is AI. In short, what we are going to call that as, or the expansion of EAI is artificial insemination. Artificial insemination. So these are all the techniques, few of the techniques we are going to study in the infertility content. As I told you, the couples unable to produce the offspring because of certain cases. So for them, the arts, what is that? Assisted reproductive technology. It has overcome, or it has come with a flying colors like IVF. Number of technologies are there. So if a couple who is unable to produce offspring, he doesn't have to undergo all the techniques, picking any one technology. They can't pick the technology. The qualified doctors pick the technology. They'll study the couples, they'll study the case, what is going wrong in their reproductive system, or anything if it is there, and any problems in the couples, they'll find out and they'll suggest any one of the technology. It is not like they have to undergo all these. okay, any one that suits to their condition. So the infertility also causes because of some congenital diseases. Congenital diseases means by birth, if the male partner or female partner, if they have any issues regarding to the system, reproductive system, that also leads to infertility. So with this, we'll move on to the technique one by one. That is, the first one will pick here for the explanation, that is IVF, in vitro fertilization. The in vitro fertilization that is fertilization takes place outside the body. Outside the body means usually what we saw in the second chapter, the egg, it has to come to the fallopian tube. Meantime, if the sperm enter inside the reproductive tract and it moves towards the egg, it get hit by the sperm, and then fertilization process begins. All these processes taking place inside the body of the female. But here is the technique, what the doctors do, what the scientists they have researched. The fertilization, they are doing this process outside the body. How? Here they will collect the male gamete of husband or donors. Some cases will be there. If in a couple, I'll write here male and female, means here this is the male partner and female partner. Consider this as a couple. If a male, he is unable to produce the male gamete, in this case they'll select some more else sperm. So that condition is known as donors. Yes, that is the, so don't consider only in this technique they are preferring the other's sperm. Cases will be there, so many problems will be there, under which the doctors will decide whether to take their partner, male partner sperm, or to collect someone else sperm, someone else in sense donor's sperm. So here what they'll do, they'll collect the male gamete of husband or male partner or donors, and female gamete from the wife. Yes, they'll collect, means they'll take out the egg of wife or donors. Donors means they can collect the egg or ovum from some other female, a suitable healthy female's egg. So this is also it is in practice. So what they'll do, they'll induce male and female gamete under suitable condition. I think this is the Petri plate. They'll fuse the female gamete and male gamete under suitable condition, means laboratory condition. Okay, so after the fusion, what is the resultant product of this? The resultant product is zygote. So we have a zygote now. Okay, after collecting this, the doctors, they'll fuse the male and female gamete of these couples. So the result is formation of zygote. All these are, this technique is taking place outside the body. It means outside the body means in vitro condition, in the laboratory condition. In vitro condition means laboratory condition. So in the Petri plate, it will not be an empty Petri plate. Some suitable condition will be, suitable media will be provided. to the egg and sperm to fuse. Okay. So after the formation of zygote, that zygote, the doctors will introduce or transfers inside the female partner's reproductive tract. Female partner reproductive tract means the couples, inside the mother reproductive tract, the zygote, it has been transferred. The further development takes place inside the reproductive tract of the wife. Okay, so this is known as IVF, in vitro fertilization. Fertilization is takes place outside the body, but after fertilization, whatever the situations, the progress development will be there. No, 1 month development, 2nd month, 3rd month, 4th month. In total, the gestation period will be takes place inside the reproductive tract of wife. In some cases will be there, if the wife, if she is unable to carry that zygote, if her reproductive system is unable to carry the gestation period, the doctors suggest for the surrogate mother. Yes, that is also possible. Surrogate mother means in some others female reproductive tract, the doctors, they'll transfer this zygote. They will transfer the zygote inside surrogate mother reproductive tract. They'll make that embryo to develop for 9 months. After 9 months, the baby will belongs to the couple. So that is all about the IVF. It is commonly referred as test tube baby. So whatever we are transferring inside the female reproductive tract, what we are having the zygote right here, right? So the same procedure follows in the next technique known as ZIFT, that is zygote intrafallopian tube. I'll mention here, I'll write here first. The second technique we wrote here as ZIFT, right? So the ZIFT is, as you know, zygote intrafallopian tube. So the zygote intrafallopian tube, in sense, the name it gets changed a little bit, right? Intrafallopian tube, in sense, it means the fertilized zygote. After fertilization, what we are having now, the zygote we are having, the procedure remains same as like we collected the sperm and we collected the ovum, we made it to fuse, and after a fusion the fertilization happens. After the fertilization, what we are having, the zygote, that zygote or the early 8-cell early embryo with 8-cell blastomere. Blastomeres means early embryo in sense, if the embryo, when the zygote, it start dividing, when it start taking cleavages. So in the last session, in the last chapter number 3, we studied related to embryo development. In the embryo development, we have come across the concept known as early, embryo take division. It forms 2 cells and then 4 cells and then 8 and then 16. So that 8-cell zygote will be there, no, the 8-cell blastomere or that embryo will be there, no. So that embryo, early stages of embryo or the zygote having 8-cell embryo or the zygote, if either from these two, if it introducing inside the fallopian tube of female partner. So that technique is known as ZIFT, zygote intrafallopian tube. Now you can ask me, what is the difference between these two? Nothing. Here also they are doing the same, here also doing the same. But the difference is, in the zygote intrafallopian tube, they have to choose or they have to transfer only the zygote or early embryo. That should be of 8-celled blastomeres. But one more technique is there, intrauterine transfer, IUT. If the embryo of 16-celled or 32-celled, like that it will keep on developing, right? So in the intrauterine transfer, in this type of technology, in this type of technique, this is also one technique. What they are doing here, let me write that one also, intrauterine transfer. What they are doing, they are transferring the embryo with 8 or more celled blastomeres inside the uterus. They are not transferring that embryo having 16 or 32 celled. Keep that in mind. Here in the IUT, they are not selecting the 8-cell blastomere. More than 8 cells blastomeres, they will transfer inside the uterus, only to the uterus. Okay, to the uterus itself they are transferring the embryo, but in the zygote selecting the 1-cell zygote or early embryo with 8-cell staged blastomere, they are transferring that zygote into the fallopian tube, but here to the uterus. You know where will be the uterus and where will be the fallopian tube, right? So this is the fallopian tube and this will be the uterus. Okay, so in the IUT technique, they'll transfer the blastomere having more than 8 cells to the uterus. Somewhere here they'll place. Okay, so next one is, we'll see the next technique after the ZIFT. That is GAMETE intrafallopian tube. Fallopian tube. That is GIF capital letter T. GIFT. So in the GIFT, the gamete, the name itself saying gamete. Which gamete they are selecting? They are selecting the sperm. In what cases they'll, in the previous techniques we saw the fertilization is taking place outside the body, but here what they'll do, what the technique includes, the gamete itself, the male gamete, they are providing or they are transferring the male gamete near to the ovum. It means ovum or egg will be here itself. What they'll do, they will inject the sperm. Okay, they will transfer the sperm. Okay, so that sperm, it will come and fuses with the zygote. Sorry, what is this? Egg. But in this case, what you have to observe, so the fertilization is taking place inside the body. Only the male gamete, they are making the male gamete to enter inside the female reproductive tract. Why so? Why not? They'll take out the egg and they make them to fuse. So in this case, if the male partner, the inability, if he can't ejaculate on in the cases like inability of male partner, and because of the low sperm count, in this condition, the doctors, they'll collect the sperm of male partner and that sperm they'll transfer inside the female reproductive tract. So this is what we are going to study in the third technique known as gamete intrafallopian tube. The fourth one is ICSI, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So this is the case. The fertilization takes place outside the body. Listen to me properly. In the fourth technique, the fertilization is taking place outside the body. Alright, it means they have to collect the egg from the female partner and they have to collect the sperm from the male partner. In the IVF technology, what I am telling you, in the IVF technology or in this technique, if they leave the male and female gamete inside the petri plate, they will provide the suitable media so that the sperm comes closer to the egg and it will fuses with one another. But here in this technology, what they'll do, they will inject the sperm into the cytoplasm of the egg inside under the laboratory condition by using suitable instruments. What they'll do, they will inject the sperm inside the cytoplasm of the egg. So that technique known as intracytoplasmic sperm injection, injecting the sperm inside the cytoplasm of egg. So that suggests that one. So why they used to do like that? When the sperm, if it is not fusing with the egg, in that cases they'll suggest this technology. And the fifth one is AI, artificial insemination. Artificial insemination, it means here also the sperms, if the male partner, if in the case of inability, okay, and also in the case of low sperm count, first they'll collect the semen or the sperms of male partner or the donors. They will inject the sperm inside the female reproductive system. That suggests the AI technology. Artificially they are inseminating the male gamete inside the tract of female reproductive system. So that's all about these technologies. Okay, so many questions are there. In the next session I'll tell you about the questions, or I'll come across all the questions related to this chapter. So but here you have to remember the arts right from that definition of infertility. After the arts, the expansion of art, and each and every concept you have to understand, you have to write, and don't get confused with ZIFT and IUT. ZIFT is different, IUT is different. Only a short differentiation is the difference is there in between these. ZIFT is transferring the zygote inside the fallopian tube or early embryo with 8 cell blastomeres. IUT is intrauterine transfer. There after the 16 celled blastomere, they will inject or they will transfer into the uterus. So, those all comes under these technologies. One thing, let me tell you, in the yesterday's concept, I thought you haven't understand that concept. It's a very small concept. One word I wrote here. Asymptomatic. Asymptomatic, I am telling you about the STD. Only a small word. Actually, it means asymptomatic. It comes under STD, sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, while explaining the complexities of STDs, complexity I wrote yesterday on the board, right? Complexities in sense severe diseases, severe cases like pelvic inflammatory diseases, cancer, and then infertility, abortion, number of complexities I wrote on the board. After that I wrote one word, asymptomatic. It is nothing but females unable to express the symptom for longer time. Unable to, if she is having the STD, if she is suffering from the STD, the symptoms are not expressed. Very shortly, she can't express or she can't, the symptoms won't be visible, won't be felt to the female. After short duration, after some period, the symptoms of STDs come across inside her body, like itching, swelling, slight pain, all those type of symptoms. She can express the STD related symptoms, but not immediately. But after the period, she can express her symptoms related to STD. So, that's why females, in related to STDs itself, females are known as asymptomatic. So, with this, we will finish it off today's session. Okay, thank you.